మీ ఆమ్మకు హురియా ఉమర్ ఫురేక తయారు కుఫావా ప్రోగ్రామ్
Vaahakayo, Vaahakayo, mihadu ingresi Vaahakayo. Kudin kiya Vaahakayo, ibrat teri Vaahakayo. अस्सलाम अलैकुम हुरिया कुदिंग हालो किहने मियादु वाहकयो प्रोग्राम गेणस्ते मि बदल कोल्ली मरियम शावरा शरीफ वाहकयो कुदिंग किया वाहकयो ahalu munna fali bebe nunteri Vaahakayo. මියදුගේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් ගයි ගෙනස්තේනි ඉංග්‍රීසි වාහකයේ වාහකයාගේ නමකි ලිටල් රෙඩ් රයිඩින් හුඩ් මේ ලයිඩි බඩ් ෆොතුම් නගාෆයිවා වාහකය මි වාහකයගේ අස්තු නුගෙල්ලේ ගොත කොම්මෙවස් වරෙක්ගේ බදල් තකකා එකි කියා දේනි තාජුදීන් ස්කූල් ග්‍රේඩ් 6 ගේ දරිවරේ නුසේබා බින්ත් ඉම්රාන්
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to tell you a story about a little girl called Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a village near the forest. Whenever she went out, the little girl wore a red riding cloak. So everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood asked her mother if she could go visit her grandmother as it has been a while since they've seen each other. "That's a good idea," her mother said. So they packed a nice basket for Little Red Riding Hood to take to her grandmother. When the basket was ready, the little girl put on her red cloak and kissed her mother goodbye. "Remember, go straight to Grandma's house," her mother cautioned. "Don't dawdle along the way and please don't talk to strangers. The woods are dangerous." "Don't worry, Mummy," said Little Red Riding Hood. "I'll be careful." But Little Red Riding Hood noticed some lovely flowers in the woods. She forgot her promise to her mother. She picked a few, watched the butterflies flit about for a while, listened to the frogs croaking, and then picked a few more. Little Red Riding Hood was enjoying the warm summer day so much that she didn't notice a dark shadow approaching out of the forest behind her. Suddenly, the wolf appeared beside her. "What are you doing out here, little girl?" the wolf asked in a voice as friendly as he could muster. "I'm on my way to see my grandmother, who lives through the forest near the brook," the Little Red Riding Hood replied. Then she realized how late she was and quickly excused herself. "Excuse me," rushing down the path to her grandmother's house. The wolf, in the meantime, took a shortcut. The wolf, a little out of breath from running, arrived at Grandma's and knocked lightly on the door. "Knock, knock, knock." "Oh, thank goodness, dear. Come in, come in. I was worried sick that something had happened to you in the forest," said Grandma, thinking that the knock was her granddaughter. The wolf let him side in. Poor Granny did not have time to say another word before the wolf gobbled her up. The wolf let out a satisfying burp and then poked through Granny's wardrobe to find a nightgown that he liked. He added a frilly sleeping cap and, for a good measure, dabbed some of Granny's perfume behind his pointy ears. A few minutes later, Little Red Riding Hood knocked on the door. The wolf jumped into bed and pulled the covers over his nose. "Who is it?" he called in a crackly voice. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood." "Oh, how lovely! Do come in, my dear," croaked the wolf. When Little Red Riding Hood entered the little cottage, she could scarcely recognize her grandma. "Grandma, your voice sounds so odd. Is something the matter?" she asked. "Oh, I just have a touch of cold," squeaked the wolf, adding a cough at the end to prove the point. "But Grandma, what big ears you have," said Little Red Riding Hood as she edged closer to the bed. "The better to hear you, my dear," replied the wolf. "But Grandma, what big eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "The better to see you, my dear," replied the wolf. "But Grandma, what big teeth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood, her voice quivering slightly. "The better to eat you, my dear," roared the wolf and leaped out of the bed and began to chase the little girl. Almost too late, Little Red Riding Hood realized that the person in the bed was not her grandmother but a hungry wolf. She ran across the room and through the door, shouting, "Help! Wolf!" as loudly as she could. A woodsman who was chopping logs nearby heard her cry and ran towards the cottage as fast as he could. He grabbed the wolf and made him spit out the poor grandmother, who was a bit frazzled by the whole experience, but still in one piece. "Oh, grandmother, I was so scared," sobbed Little Red Riding Hood. "I will never speak to strangers or dawdle in the forest ever again." There, my child. You've learned an important lesson. Thank goodness you shouted loud enough for this kind woodsman to hear you. The woodsman knocked out the wolf and carried him deep into the forest where he wouldn't bother people any longer. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother had a nice lunch and a long chat.
Koba, mi Vaahakayo tita.
The moral of this story is not to speak to strangers.
Vaahakayo, Vaahakayo, kudinkiya Vaahakayo. Iburetteri Vaahakayo, beenunteri Vaahakayo.
ಮಿಹಾ ಹಿಸಾಬು ಮಿಯದು ನಿಮ್ಮಾಲಣೀಂಗೆ ಇರಾದು ಕುರೆವ್ಯ ಮಾದವ ಅಣೆಕ್ಕಾವೆಸ್ ಆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮೆ ಗೆಣಸ್ತೇಣ. ವಸ್ಸಲಾಮು ಅಲೈಕುಂ.
Vaahakayo, Vaahakayo, mihadu ingresi Vaahakayo. Kudinkiya Vaahakayo, ribratteri Vaahakayo.